Hello and welcome to Elisa Maria Designs. I am Elisa Maria. Welcome back if you are back, and welcome if you are new. Today is Monday, March 3rd. March is just flying in. I'm just catching up to February and it's already gone. But I wanted to talk to you today about an artist that I really love. And when I was showing you guys around my art room and talking about, who was I talking about? I was talking about Ivan Velikovic, and I was showing the new Dreamer Design canvas, and I was showing you the old canvases, which were Kurtis Rykovich. Let me just, there's 3 of my Kurtises right there. And I said, I love Kurtis Rykovich so much. I can't believe that I never did what I call is a masterclass. And I think I'm going to change that name because it's more getting to know the artist. I'm not really teaching any kind of technique or anything like that. So you'll probably see the thumbnail. Future me is going to write, get to know the artist, not Kurtis Rykovich masterclass. So I was up at 1 a.m. because I went to bed early and thought, oh my God, I thought it was like 6 a.m. What am I doing? What am I going to do now until daylight comes? So I went over, I always had notes on Kurtis Rykovich. I was always telling my subscribers when I was working on Chosen that I would do something with Kurtis Rykovich. And I don't know, I don't know what was going on, but another canvas took precedence over it. So I went back and looked at my notes that I had, and I was like, well, these are just maybe like very superficial notes. I really wanted to have something a little bit more in depth here. So that's what I was doing from 1 o'clock in the morning until 5 a.m. when John left for the gym. So I can only say this one thing directly to you, Kurtis Rykovich. Let me live. Let me live, please. I was losing my mind. I was losing my mind. I have never seen a person with a paintbrush constantly in their hand. Constantly. He was in between shows, and while he was being transported to his next show, he was in the car, in the plane, in the train, in the bus, wherever he was, and he was sketching something else. He credits his husband Michael of 15 years, which that might be longer because I don't know when I read this, as he was doing an interview and they had said, what do you do, how do you begin your day? And he's like, well, I get up and then I walk my dogs and then I begin to paint. And I believe that because I couldn't imagine a factory working as fast, not that it's fast. We're going to get into it because I'm going to be diamond painting Chosen, but I just wanted to say, what I have on the top of my head, I have to siphon that off because what I'm going to do is diamond paint, and I'm going to give you all the details of this amazing artist as a voiceover, because there's no way that I could, even if I had notes in front of me, which I don't. So I'm siphoning off what's on the top of my head from this morning. So he credits his husband, Michael, that he really is the one that takes care of the Kurtis Rykovich fan page on Instagram. And he's also the one that is like, hey, drop the brush, let's go for a walk. Let's, he is, probably his therapist. And also, he's the guy that's, making sure that he takes breaks, making sure that he eats. I mean, the passion. Oh my God. Unbelievable. What I had previously didn't even come up in the information that I found early this morning. And I could just imagine like his husband, Michael, going into his room and saying, come on, take a break. And him just being like, he paints everything. I'm like, Michael, run. He'll start painting you. Just run. But it was so interesting. A lot of things came up. So I'm going to diamond paint, and I'm going to go through them with you. Chosen is, I'm going to tell you about Chosen. And I'm also going to, maybe I'll diamond paint a little bit and talk, and then I'll give you like all the other like specifics, because I have so many, what did I do? I saved a lot of bookmarks that I wanted to incorporate into this, because if you have an interest in him like I do, it was really difficult to find information on him. And I think that it's I'm going to say, reading in between the lines and listening to him in earlier interviews when he was in college, I'm like, I'm starting to think that he's being deliberate about stuff, like, uh, I don't know, maybe not now that now that you say it out loud, like, I know like an artist will always want you to interpret their work the way that you would interpret it, and they don't want to suggest anything to you like, oh, I painted chosen, and like this is what was going through my head. Oh, wait to hear what's going through his head. And um this is what it signifies. He doesn't do that. He wants you to come to and most artists do. They want you to come to your own meaning. It's art is subjective. And so if it stirs something in you, most likely, maybe it was the same thing that stirred in the artist that created it. But this piece, again, is very personal to me. So let's get into it. And then I'm going to get into a little bit of what I learned about Kurtis, but all the technical stuff I will put absolutely as a voiceover. I will never be able to keep it all straight in my head, as you guys know. So here we go. I'm going to get my tea. My pretty little diamond cup. Ain't that cute? Timu. All right. I'm going to pause because I have to rearrange this whole. I wanted to have maybe Kurtis behind me, but it's going to be looking down the canvas anyway. So be right back. Okay, I am back. I was diamond painting this morning. What was I diamond painting? I was diamond painting my angel because I want to get him done. And I had my other pen downstairs, and of course I left it downstairs. We're still doing this back and forth stuff. It's driving me nuts. So I said no. I wanted it because it had my shorter Diamond Art Club single plate multi-placer, the thin one. I have to take a sip of this tea before it goes cold. But it was the shorter one, maybe a 6 it is, I think. But it's not going to be a problem me using this longer one. It is a problem using it on my Ivan Valakovic. That canvas is so tight, I keep saying it, that I have to use... Did I put the other one back? Are things just walking away? It's not in my hand. I just took it out. Okay, it was on the drill case. So I've been using this one for the Ivan Valakovic because I'm able to pick up 2 drills, but you're going to get to a spot with the Ivan Valakovic where the drill space, as it gets more and more drills, you can't really get a multi-placer in there. You're going to be dotting. So we'll use that one. I'm going to use this one. I'm going to use my purple pen that I like. And let's get it cracking. So I was going, really, I spent most of my time last night, well, early this morning last night, because I feel like I have to go back to sleep, actually. I spent most of my time early this morning when I was up. I spent it looking for things on Chosen here, and I could not find anything on her. But the interesting thing was that I did find other damsels with butterflies on them, and the one he's doing another. He does a lot of changing things around too, with changing names of his canvases, and he'll put like, oh, previously known as. And I'm like, okay, it's not just me that I want to change my class, or maybe that's why I decided to just change my class. But the first butterfly that I found like this with a girl with a butterfly on her head was claimed, and she's a brunette, like a light brown, I should say, light brown hair, kind of like tawny colored skin, very pretty. I'll put a picture up, and he said that she was the second in a 2-part series. Well, then I found other ones with butterflies as another focal point. Okay, so he said that he had used the butterfly when he said claimed. And I'm like, well, where's chosen? I just couldn't find chosen. He said that he named it claimed because how beautiful to have a creature so delicate, so strong, and yet so vulnerable choose you and place themselves upon, like, really, I think where her, I say the forehead, but I think it's more like where the third eye is. So you could dive a little bit deeper into that in your own interpretation. And I did find chosen, but I was really looking for, when I was on his Instagram, you can go to his Instagram, Kurtis Rykovich, and you can look. I was really looking for canvases that I had already so that I can get more information on them. And I was looking for any detail that he wanted, any little tidbit of information that he wanted to give with this canvas. And I really pulled links to things that he was working on. I think that his process of working was just so I mean, I was up for hours. I got up at 1 a.m., 1:30, and I was in my phone for like a straight 5 hours, and the only thing I was doing was looking up Kurtis Rykovich information. And I was only looking at the posts that you could tell were a video of him working. The work on Marie Antoinette, I think I told you guys this before, was stunning. The detail. And he was saying how too he may start somewhere and he may end somewhere else, and he's erasing. And I only saw that really with one canvas, because I said, if I'm going to do a Kurtis Rykovich masterclass, I'm going to get a whole new canvas. And I thought, well, why would you do that? Like, why would you go out and go get a whole new canvas when you're finishing up chosen and you really can't find a lot of information on Kurtis? I could tell you what I visually found out, what I seen him doing. I found a few interviews, and I think that they were from galleries that he was actually showing in. But, just why don't you just like wrap it up with chosen? I still have some work to do with chosen. She's beautiful. For me, this canvas actually came out of a self-care Sunday. And one of my subscribers, her name is Elisa too, spelled just like mine. And I think when you have an unusual name like mine, it's not so unusual anymore. You'll see a lot of people named Elisa. But, growing up, I only knew one other person that was named Elisa, and she was a nun. And I used to write, I was in second grade, and I used to write to her because the nun, I was in Catholic school, said, I know a sister Elisa, and you should write to her. And I was like, oh, okay. So we wrote to each other. Based on the fact that we had the same first name. So Elisa was telling me about, I think I was doing, it was a self-care Sunday, and it was called The Listening Path. And it was listening to your beloveds, people that have passed on. And I was talking about, what are the signs that, talk to your beloved. Like I talk to my grandmother all the time. I talk to my father all the time. I talk to my grandfather all the time, even though I didn't know him. I feel very connected to him. So Elisa was telling me that, and I think I was saying that my girlfriend Denise, every time, I would always go to my girlfriend Denise for advice. And she said to me, if I pass on, you'll know it's me, a monarch butterfly. You'll know it's me, and I hear you. And I can't tell you how many times I would be sitting and, thinking about my girlfriend Denise, and she would appear to me as a monarch. And so Elisa said, that's my symbol for my father. Well, Denise said a butterfly, but Elisa was more specific in saying a yellow butterfly is a sign from my father. And right after this whole discussion, I had gone on Dreamer Designs, and I saw chosen, and I was like, oh my gosh, Elisa, I feel like this was a validation from your dad that he heard us talking about him. Immediately saw this yellow butterfly, and she was touched by it. And I thought, I'm going to get this. I love it. It reminded me of my girlfriend Denise, but it reminded Elisa of her father. And for just those two reasons in the discussion and the self care Sunday that we had that day, I got this canvas and I start work. And of course, she looks like Chantal. She looks like Canadian Diamond Dot Witch. So I just was like, I love this canvas for all those reasons, and I want to do it. And I really did not know that. I think because I just stay in my own little world on YouTube, I don't really even venture into my own um, Facebook page. I should, because there are things that I can't post here that I'm like, you know what? I'm going to post them on my YouTube page, and I'm going to keep it on Elisa Maria Design so that I don't have to deal with the reason why I don't go to my Facebook page is because I don't like getting tangled up in the things that I see from friends that post this and post that and whatever. I just feel like I'm on there for like 3 seconds and then I have to get off. So I go looking for something on this, and I just find I found that that was enough of um, a definition for me. In the meantime, I'm watching this young man, you know, every post that he gave was something else. You know, he was either going to be at a show or his I would imagine that his partner, being that he takes care of the Kurtis Rykovich page, I would imagine that he is also creating these other things, because I can only imagine, like, when I wanted to do a little something for Foofy, and that's like, it got shelved, but it's still active. I'll get back to it. I could just imagine his partner must have said, hey, you know what? We can turn all this stuff into other things, like phone cases or art bags. And so he was showing art bags, and he was showing very like, I believe like he only has a few of each. Now, I'm not even sure, because he would say like, I'm going to be at this gallery and this makeup bag or art bag is going to be available. There's only 3 of each, maybe like 3 of one of chosen, 3 of claimed. And I forget what the other one is. Maybe it's possessed, or I don't know. I don't know what the other one was. But there were a few of these damsels with butterflies on them. So I'm watching him work. And let me tell you, I only saw my friend once. How I met my friend Perry Milo, who's a pop artist here in Philadelphia. He was painting in the park, and I was saying, what the hell is this guy painting? And I'm staring at it, and he had backed up, and we were shoulder to shoulder. He's like, and he said, do you like it? I said, it's upside down. Is it upside down? Oh no, I said, do you like? I said, I don't know what it is. He said, hold on. He walked over to it and he turned it right side up. I was like, you're painting upside down? He's like, yeah, for a different perspective. Now I'm watching Kurtis paint, and he's flipping this thing like a pizza. It's up, it's down, it's sideways, it's this way, it's that way. I mean, he should have just put it on like one of those rotating plate, those cake plates that you turn, you're decorating. It was fascinating to watch him work. And then he has like a plank that he puts in front of the canvas so that he can rest his hand and not touch the canvas, because some of the artworks that he does are so detailed. I would imagine that you need a very steady hand with just like a wisp of hair on the brush. When he's doing the eyelashes, when he's doing the details in the hair, I just, like I told you, I was up for hours watching him paint. But he creates all these other things too. He makes dolls. I am not kidding you. I am on his Instagram page, and he's got a porcelain face. There's nothing on it. He gets like, what is it called? Like a Dremel? I don't even know. I'm guessing here. And he's literally with the Dremel, with the piece of porcelain, and he's carving out her face, let's just say, wants to make a chosen doll. But he doesn't stop there. He's got the face. He's putting the eyes in. He's painting the face. He's putting the hair on. The hair has like strands of beads that he's sewing in. He sewed this very detailed ornamental dress that she had on. And I'm like, that would take me a year. Are you kidding me? I just could not believe what he was doing. Then there was something else that I saw where he did gold leafing, you guys. I think I was talking about this with my member, so I'm not going to give it all out of the bag. But he took a block of wood. He paints a lot on wood. Like this was painted on wood. It's an oil. So he took a block of wood and he made an oval where he was going to paint the face, but around the oval he put all gold foiling on it. And then he painted the face. Let's just say it's chosen again. He painted the face and then he hung it on the wall. And then he had a frame to go on top of it, which was almost like a box. It was a filigree frame, and then he put it on top of what he just painted, and so the gold foiling was coming through the filigree, but the oval shape was just perfect for like. So that's the dimensions that he got for the wood. That's the dimensions that he got for the frame. You know how big he was going to make this little portrait inside. Then he did, what else did I watch? He did these hearts. They're Valentines, right? So hearts. And so he's painting, let's just say, I know he has these Valentine ones on Dreamer Design. So maybe it's, I think it's, is it called Valentine? I'm not sure. But I know that he had, well, let's just say it's Valentine. So, or Queen of Hearts. Okay, Queen of Hearts is another beautiful one. I didn't realize how many Alice in Wonderlands that he did. I really retained a lot of stuff. I didn't think I was going to be talking this much. I thought by now I would just be diamond painting and doing a voiceover. But let's just say it's Queen of Hearts. And so he put Queen of Hearts on a block of wood and he painted her, okay, hand painted her, okay, again. And then he got his paint and he mixed it with some kind of something that would thicken the paint. I don't know what it was. It was a powder. And then he put it in a pastry bag. This is what I love, when all these things in your background, because I used to decorate. I mean, I had a cafe, but I did my own cupcakes and I hand decorated them and all. So he's taking this paint and he's thickening it. He's making it like a frosting, and he's putting it in the bag that you would pipe, and he's piping out around it like it's a cake. Oh my God, it was so gorgeous. And they were called cake damsels or cake. Please, I'm getting too excited. I gotta calm down. Let me take a breath. But I love this creativity that he has. And, you know, what I learned from the artist way is when you create and you keep creating, it becomes like, we would probably all just be like, I know I am. I'm gobsmacked by how I seen him every single day in his art room, every single day creating, every single day. It's a doll. It's a acrylic pour that he's doing. You know, he took another piece of wood and he painted on it. I don't even know who he painted because I'm getting them all confused. And then he like wrapped the sides with painter's tape very stiffly, stood it up, and then he did an acrylic pour. So that's like kind of like what I was doing with my bookmarks with my diamond glaze. This was like resin. And so she's like encapsulated in this resin painting. And then like on the weekends, he's out at these events, like where he's like, I don't know, like in a mall, and he's set up, or he's at like a craft show, or they had one, it was called Oddities. And oh gosh, if you guys seen The Apprentice, the black cat, there's more to that whole scene there. The black cat, it was called The Apprentice, but there's also a white cat, and she's called the mortician's assistant. Oh my God! I mean, I couldn't get enough. I was getting more and more worked up. I was like, what is he doing now? What is he doing now? And then he'll be at these events, and he'll be signing things, and he'll be posing with people that have bought. Now, when he's painting, it's already sold. It's already sold. Like when he was painting her, he's like, this is an oil on wood. She's already sold, but you can get prints of her or other things that her image is on. just so fascinating. But when I saw him doing the dolls and, hand making dolls and sewing their clothes and, oh gosh, just so fascinating. And then, of course, there's technical stuff that I learned about him. But I remember when he was doing an interview for, and believe me, this is going to be a two-parter because I was only on Instagram. Now, there's another site that I can go to where there are paintings of his that I find to just be, well, they're going to be very recognizable to you. You're going to know right away. Oh, that's so and so's face. That's well, he has one in the butterfly line. It's called Honey, and she has a bee on her. And I love bees. I'm allergic to bees, but I love bees. And I'm like, oh God, if Honey ever became a diamond painting, she would be so be mine. Oh, that's the other thing. So he also, when he's doing a diamond painting and he's going to be somewhere, he might have, like, okay, I just painted Chosen, but I'm going to enhance her myself. So he does like this 3D medium that maybe certain parts he outlines and he enhances. And I thought I was seeing things, but he had a diamond painting tray and a diamond painting pen that comes with a diamond painting kit. And he was enhancing the border of his acrylic pour with these black, you know, diamonds. And I'm like, oh my God, he's diamond painting. And of course, I, I of course, saved that one to, link for you guys so that you can see it. I'm like, oh my God, he's diamond painting. But if you see Honey, she's got the bee on her. She's like, it's like right above her. It's like right on her collarbone. But that collarbone area looks like a honeycomb. Now, a lot of his things disturbed me, like turning the skull into a heart. And when you go to his Instagram, out of all these damsels that he creates, his icon is the Marie Antoinette painting. The Marie Antoinette painting. So I found that very interesting, and I loved looking at all the detail work that he did with Marie from the time that he sketched her out to the time that he started to really paint her, fine tune her, go back in and do all, like, just the ruffle on Marie's dress, the little pinpoint pearls that he put on the edge of the ruffling. Oh my God, amazing. Such detail, such detail. The eyelashes, the eyes. I mean, his work is so recognizable. Like, he has a look. It's always with these beautiful faces. They're very soft, they're very strong, they're very delicate, but they're also, when you look at them, they seem to have this fragileness about them. But the luscious lips and the big eyes and the long eyelashes, just so gorgeous. So gorgeous. And I was reading that maybe it was in one of the modern, it was the modern gallery that he was at, that they asked him in the interview where he went to school. I completely forgot, but they asked him who his influence was, and did he have anybody that he admired. Now, I'm going to tell you a story that when I read who he said, I just looked at the words because I was reading it. He said, yeah, he said, there was a girl when I was in college and I really liked her work, Lori Early. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, I used to follow Lori Early on, I believe, Facebook. Now, I'm going back. It has to be, if he was in college in 2015, it had to be that maybe a little bit earlier. And I loved her work. But she would do like these big, I must have been painting at the time. Painting must have been my medium at the time. But she does these huge canvases. And I knew that she was not well. Like, she had some kind of rare disease. And I said, oh my God, Lori Early, of course. I could see her influence. I could see where he was attracted to her, and her style. of and her subjects that she painted. So I went, of course, now I'm on Lori Early's site, and um, I knew that she was sick. I don't know if at the time she said what was wrong with her, but she has a very, I mean, a rare disease that affects her connective tissue. And as a yin yoga teacher, and why I love yin yoga is because yin yoga targets the connective tissue. So connective tissue is like a big web that 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 surrounds your whole body. It connects everything together. It connects your tendons and your muscles together. It connects them to your skeletal system. It connects your arteries. It's this. It just looks like, it looks like a spider web, is what it looks like a beautiful cobweb, and it connects every part of every inch of your body inside. It's amazing. And yin yoga, what it does is it keeps that connective tissue, because now um, we know what makes it so beneficial is that yin yoga is like another blood source. So when you're young and your body's nice and juicy, you never see how kids run when they're little and they're like, their limbs are like all like they look like they're gonna fall off. They have, that's their connective tissue, and it's so juicy and filled with fluid and blood cells and hyaluronic acid. And as you get older, it's kind of like, we know when you have taffy in the summer, it's nice and soft and stringy, and then the leftover taffy in the wintertime is hard. That's kind of like what your connective tissue gets like as you get older if you don't keep it supple. And the way that we keep it supple in yin yoga is we hold poses. We kind of like use our body to compress an area. So everything's done on the floor. It's not an active, it's a very inactive yoga, which means you don't engage your muscles at all, because we want to engage the connective tissue. And what happens is when you're holding a posture and you're using the compression of your body to just, maybe if you're sitting on the floor with your legs extended and you just hinge at the hips and you just allow yourself to slowly begin to bend forward, and you hold that position, and you'll feel your body start to give. You'll feel your muscles start to relax, and you don't engage them, and you just let them move at their own pace, and you just keep holding this posture and holding and holding. And then you can hold it anywhere from 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then what happens is when you come out of the posture, it's kind of like taking a plug out of the tub, right? You fill the bathtub up, and then you're going to take the plug out, and all the water goes down the drain, right? It's kind of like that when you're bending forward and you're compressing your body with your own weight, with your own bones, with your own muscles, and then you go to get up. It's like taking a plug out of the bathtub. All the blood that was in that area, being not forced into that area, but pooling in that area, and then you go and you release it. It's like you will feel your blood move. But while you were holding that posture, you were bringing blood flow to the area, you were bringing oxygen to the area, you were bringing your cells into that area. It's such a wonderful, oh my God. And it's like you slept for a day. In fact, I think I'm going to do some yin yoga today. Actually, I need to unwind. And so I didn't know that there was a disease of the connective tissue. And so I was looking at her artwork, and she's gotten more open about what her artwork is about. Um, she's I think it's a form of therapy for her, and it's very moving, and um, it could be disturbing at times, because she is suffering. She wants to be engaged in her art, but she has to, recoup and heal. And so I could have seen the influence, because of all the paintings that I remembered of hers, it was one where there was a bird in the painting. And I believe it was, getting back to Kurtis, I believe it was a studio. Which one? He was having a showing, and the mermaid that I have was what he used. Daydreamer was what he used for his press to, his thumbnail, his postcards. Daydreamer was on the cover, and she's a beautiful mermaid that has a lot of whales around her. And so, like, when you look at a lot of Kurtis's work, there's usually an animal involved. So, like with this, you have the butterfly. With the mermaid, you have the whales. There's Goldilocks, and of course the three bears, very cute. But there's Red Riding Hood with the little wolf. I'm going into like fairy tales. Um, um, so I was thinking about getting a new canvas, and I'm like, well, why would I do that? I have this to finish up. I have Daydreamer, and I have Ice Queen in my stash. But then as I was looking at all his stuff, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot all about Quiet Snow. I bought her during the craziness with Black Friday. And she's holding, what is she holding? A baby ram, I think she's holding. And so somebody asked him, like, what's with the animals? Why some of your damsels are all holding animals? And he said, they come up as spirit animals in the painting. And so, like, I think that, like, knowing all this stuff about the artist, and he was saying, like, sometimes I don't even know what the focal point is when I'm doing a painting, and like I have a damsel holding an animal. So he did have a time lapse, a really fast time lapse on Quiet Snow that I thought was really beautiful. And I bought Quiet Snow because it reminded me of my dad. He was a Capricorn, and it reminded me of a baby Capricorn. Is that a ram? No, that's an Aries. Aries is a ram. But it reminded me of a baby Capricorn. And I was like, oh, I want to get this because it reminds me of my dad. And like for her, that's her spirit animal. And when I went back and looked at a lot of his paintings where they were holding animals, you can see where, like, yeah, that would be, like, he didn't put any other kind of marine life in the mermaids. I think they all have whales around them, which was interesting. I'm like, this is something else that I know about the artist because I know very little about him. Very little. So where am I? I did all my twos. I'm coming into this. I wanted to put some ABs in. Let's do some ABs before I turn this off, and then I'm like painting on my own and telling you what else I found about Kurtis. Or I could just keep that for next week. But I did also read something about him saying that he always loved fairy tales and history. But I want to get the line right, where this was probably from the same gallery showing, because I can't find a lot of interviews with him. I can't find any information about this artist at all. And he said that he's always loved history and fairy tales, and that history, but not the history that you read about, history that maybe never even happened. So like more of like a story that you're creating. I didn't know, like, you have to read between the lines with him. And he also said that his paintings are like a beautiful dream with something going wrong. Like, that really is like a beautiful dream that has gone wrong. But he didn't say gone wrong. He said it's like a beautiful dream, but something's a little off. I think that's what he said. It's like a beautiful dream, but something is going off. I'll make sure I have all this straight. But here I am with my art dot putty, picking up a bunch of ABs and laying them down. But I'm creating a shadow with my hand here that is freezing. I do have like little half gloves on because it's been like a month. I don't know what's going on. I just can't get warm. Do I have enough? Do I have too many on here? And my art dot putty will pick up those ABs, doesn't matter how many, and lay them down. This is how I got Nordic Winter done, because it would have never gotten done. There were so many ABs. I think there were 3 full-size bags of 5200. And it was really interesting that he showed crimson and lilac together, and he used them for his holidays, and he was saying like how he's always loved like the elaborate dresses of that time, and like that's something else that I find that his detail to the couture of the time, Marie Antoinette must have been a field day for him. He was saying that Alice was one of his is I didn't realize how many times he's done Alice. And I actually, now I'm done with all this, like I'm up at 5, now it's 5 o'clock in the morning, John's getting ready to go to the gym, and I'm up now 4 hours staring at Kurtis Rykovich and all his beautiful damsels, and he was picking out a few of his favorites that he just loves, and where was I going with this? Oh God, it went right out of my head. Where was I going with this? Well, I know that he did create one portrait, and he shows it to you, and he's doing it in a time lapse, and he's like, should I finish this? I don't know if my audience is going to like this. And he's like, I don't have many, if at all, canvases that I don't complete, and I just can't believe that he didn't complete this one. I think it was of a witch, and she was looking at a raven. That was pretty. Now, crimson, I really appreciated the fact, not crimson, lilac. Lilac had a snowman coming out of her head, and I was like, oh no. So he did change that. So that's the only time I saw him, when he said like maybe I start one thing but then I end up changing it. That was the only thing that I saw. You see the sketch, and it's a little snowman, and but you see that snowman show up later in Susie Snowflake. So that's what I was saying. I was on Dreamer Designs, at 5 o'clock in the morning now, and I'm like, I want Little Red Riding Hood back, and I think I'm going to go do that Alice in Wonderland, and I think I'm going to get what was the other one? Queen of Hearts, and then I wanted Little Red Riding Hood, the 3 Bears, Queen of Hearts, and some other one I forgot already. Susie Snowflake. I had them all in the cart. I was ready to check out. I'm like, what are you doing? Just go to bed. Go to bed. You could show them all this stuff, because you have to do this, and you're not going to do all these. You have a whole closet full of drills from the time that you lost your mind during Black Friday. Empty that cart out. And so I did. But I love that he also was showing the prints. That's one that I really wanted to. It's the frog with the crown, and he's showing you how he does the final touches. And like, there were certain paintings that I'm attracted to, because when I think about the sparklers, DP with sparklers, and I'm like, well, that's the thing too with Daydreamer. With Daydreamer, I went to DP with sparklers, and I bought all bubble drills and all, because she's a big mermaid coming out of the ocean with these orca wheels around her, and I'm like, ooh, I saw bubble drills on DP with sparklers, and I'm going over to her. I'm getting those bubble drills, and I'm going to switch them out for these other drills. Yeah, so I love that he did enhancements by hand on, like, just like we do. Like, we're doing these, and like he's doing his enhancements too. Just like another layer to his artwork. Now he's doing, I feel like The Apprentice just came out, the black cat, how adorable. He painted him on his own, and then he dropped him into that picture where he's on with like all the like little medicine bottles with like eyeballs in them and all. It seems like a lot of his Halloween stuff is coming out now. So he's got these planks of wood that he is cutting into like little caskets. He's got a huge goth following. His stuff is very goth. But then there's that other side that I was telling you guys. If you think you know his work, um, there's another side to him. And so with honey, that's what I didn't tell you. With honey, the bee that has the honeycomb on the collarbone, um, she looks exactly like Sarah Jessica Parker. She looks like Sex in the City. There's like no denying it. She is Sarah Jessica Parker. And then he did another one where it was a Catwoman holding a little voodoo doll of Batman. She's sticking needles in him. It was a funny one though. I was like, oh my god, that is so funny. That Catwoman practicing voodoo on Batman. That was really cute. I think you're going to see all these either as I'm talking about them, or future me is going to put the link. I'm going to put the links too so that you can see them. But I didn't even get into um, the ones that I saw that really just and I wonder why they didn't do a series of this, like all the girls with the butterflies, because one has a butterfly that it's like right under her neck, like it would be like where her top button is. I'm like, what? I wonder why they didn't do all the butterflies and make that a series with him. Um, I don't know. Maybe it has something to do. No, I don't think so. I'm trying to think like maybe it has something to do with his one of a kind. Like if he maybe some things are just like one of a kind. Like you buy it and you're the only one that has it. I know he has this snail, and that's really, really, really a big piece with the haunted house on its back. But he also had a girl with the same house on her head. And I think that would have went over really big as a diamond painting. Also, the haunted house, um, and he has a crazy following of people that are at wherever he is to buy his stuff. Oh, this is another AB. Good, I get to put two ABs down. Um, he's done Morticia sitting in the wicker chair. I think he's done a few. He's done a great Wednesday. I think he really caught Wednesday, her essence. Like it's one thing to. I'm gonna move this up a little bit because that side looks a little crowded. What's going on here? Oh my God, the DJ's back. Do you hear the music coming through the thing? He's back. The DJ. I'm so busy running my mouth off that I didn't even hear it. So what I'm going to do is I have like 10 minutes. I'm going to diamond paint myself, and then I'm going to come in as a voiceover and tell you the other things that I found out about him, and like in his own words, like direct quotes. And I am definitely going to follow this up next week because I only went to one of his sites for information, and I was there for 4 hours. And so I'm going to go to two other sites in the following weeks until she is done, and get you more information on get to know Kurtis Rykovich. I just think that he is an amazing young man. I'm calling him a young man. I mean, he's got to be like maybe 30, in his 30s. Yeah. So, okay, before the DJ drives me mad, I'm going to just diamond paint quietly, and then this will all be taken out when I do the voiceover. So I am reading an article that was published July 8th, 2015 by the Modern Eden Gallery, where Kurtis was having a solo show at the gallery, and that they were big fans, and that they felt as though his artistry knew no bounds. Beautiful creatures filled of dangerous allure and intrigue. Um, and they were asking him a few questions for the upcoming gallery showing that he was having, and what was his inspiration, and how did he select the subject matter. And it is Daydreamer that is the portrait that he decided that he was going to use to showcase the gallery. So Curtis says, it took me a long time to settle on Reverie. There were so many ways I wanted to go for the show. I had done many sketches and I loved ones that depicted eerie sirens and mythical creatures that it seemed only natural to make them into paintings. I loved how they resembled dreams that are beautiful but not quite right. That was it. Beautiful. I love how they resembled dreams that are beautiful but not quite right. Glimpses of hidden agendas behind visions that draw you in. And this is his mermaid line. I've seen Daydreamer and I've seen one other, but there's quite a few in this gallery showing. So I'm going to link this article if you're interested and you want to, look at what was in his gallery showing back in 2015. And the gallery had asked their next question was that his beautiful muses have accompanying animals and what was the symbolism there. And he had stated that a lot of times you cannot have one without the other. I love to play with the relationship between these creatures and their animals. I feel that in every relationship, there is always one side that is more influential than the other. These animal spirits and their muses blur that line, so you can never really tell who influences who or who is calling the shots. And now that I'm looking at it, it's I can see that in his artwork, especially with Daydreamer and the orcas. Modern Gallery then asked, what is your artistic process? Take us on a journey from concept to final piece. This process is a lot of times very challenging for me. Many people just assume that painting is such an ease and relaxing. For me, it can be the opposite. I love painting beauty, but I always love to include some flaws or malice. And planning this out without distracting from the allure of it all can be sometimes a challenge. Each piece starts out as a thought in my head, then I sketch directly onto the wood, sometimes erasing and starting over many times. I usually do not sketch in a sketchbook first, just because I always like to feel like I lose. I usually do not sketch in a sketchbook first because I always feel like I lose that burst of energy on that sketchbook piece, and it never feels the same when I try to reproduce it on the panel. Well, I get what he's saying, because when you are not confident in your artwork and you're doing a sketch and you want to sketch it out on a piece of paper, but then you want to recreate it on the actual thing that you want to create it on, he's right, it loses that burst of energy. I created an image for my cafe, Petalbell, and Petalbell was a little girl, and I sketched her out and I could never recreate that face that I wanted. And so, and where I sketched her out, it was like right near the binder of the sketchbook, and all I have is that. So he's saying it never feels the same when he tries to reproduce it on the panel. Then I start laying down the colors. Completing a piece has always been the simplest part for me, perhaps because towards the end it becomes obvious which aspects are starting to take control within the piece. And he has some beautiful, I really encourage you, I'm going to link this to take a look at this gallery showing. There's some beautiful pieces here. Modern Eden Gallery then asks, what is your greatest challenge as an artist? What is one of your greatest accomplishments? To which Curtis answered, one of my greatest challenges is fighting with myself. Don't we all? I always feel that I need to push harder, and for a long time I felt that I needed to be very different as an artist to appeal to what is expected. Oh, my greatest accomplishment is realizing that I can never be someone else, but I can continue to progress and strive to be the best at being me. Well, I would say that you have accomplished that, Mr. Rykovich. What artists inspire you? And to that, Curtis has two paintings by Lori Yearly. I love so many contemporary artists, but there are a few in particular that pop into my head that keep me going. Lori Yearly is one that climbs the list. I remember seeing her pieces when I was in college, and they were mesmerizing. The technique seemed flawless, and I love her take on beauty and the oddness that may accompany it. I also love most classic animation and find inspiration in their lessons and portrayals of good and evil. It will always be something I am drawn to no matter what. So, I didn't read this the first time around. I just knew that I wanted to incorporate this in this get to know the artist. And him saying here, reading that her technique seemed flawless, when I went over to Lori's page and I was going back to see, I really didn't recognize any new work other than the one that I had seen like 10 years ago. But I was reading a little bit more into her story, and she had said that she trained, um, went to school, and learned all the great master techniques, but that they all seem so boring. That to just copy the work, like to do a still life and practice those techniques, was so boring, and that she had something else inside of her that was distorted, and she wanted to use those techniques to bring that out. And it's so interesting that he noted right away that her pieces were not only mesmerizing, that the technique that she used was flawless, and that was from studying the masters. And I had said that in maybe it was Ivan Velikovic, and he's now an AI generated artist, but with a grounding in his own, either it's photography or artwork, and he's using AI to enhance it. And I was saying, like, this is great. I couldn't do what these kids are doing today, but to not skip over the great artists. And I was happy when I had read that Lori Early did train in these great techniques from artists, centuries ago, and she used those techniques to bring out what was inside of her. And a lot of her, there's one painting that she did that I didn't know it at the time what was going on, and I read it early this morning, and it was about her battle with this disease that she has, and then when you know that, and she didn't want to tell anybody what it was about. She wants you to come to your own conclusion. But when she did ask the question. She was like, "What did you think that this was about?" And now knowing, does it change your opinion? Well, of course it does, because the utter pain that this girl is going through. And then you look at that picture, and she even said, I painted that I don't know how long ago, and I can't even look at it anymore because it's so upsetting for her to look at that. Modern Eden Gallery asked what his daily life was like. What are some things you do when you're not painting or making art? I can't imagine that there's a minute in this man's schedule that he's not painting or making art. It's just crazy. He said, well, I wake up, walk my dogs, then make some coffee, then start painting. This is most days, but when I'm not painting, I try to free my mind and try not to think too much. But it always creeps up on me. This is why I can't sleep at night. I want to just free my mind, and I can't. I'm just always thinking, did I do this? Did I do that? What's the next thing? No matter how much I document and write things down, like in journals, not like planning, like, oh, this is what I did on YouTube and this is what I'm going to do. It's like it's all locked in there, and it eventually comes back up to the surface, but it does keep me awake at night. So it's kind of hard to free your mind and not think much, but it always creeps up on me. I really love going to antique and used stores in search of inspiration. Well, that's what I used to do. My partner, Michael, is great at getting me out of the house. He has always been a big push in my career as an artist. He makes it a point to get me to take a break and not stress much. Well, you need that. And then it just ended with the Reverie debuts July 11th at the Modern Eden Gallery. Where is the Modern Eden Gallery? Where are you, Modern Eden Gallery? So anyway, I will link that. They're in San Francisco. I will link that in the description. I wonder if I have found anything else, because then it will give me the opportunity to oh, it's on my phone. So I'll have to wait until next week. I don't think really that I learned too much more about him, other than maybe like a little blurb about where he went to school. But I also wanted to, and I'm going to pop it up after I do this voiceover. Most of the paintings that I put up, you can find at Dreamer Designs. There's a lot of them. Like you can find Chosen, you can find Quiet Snow, you can find Snoozy Snowflake, you can find Goldilocks and Three Bears, you can find Little Red Riding Hood, you can find Rapunzel, you could find, did I say Susie Snowflake and Quiet? And you could find the Snow Queen or the Ice Queen. He changed. You could find Crimson and Lilac and Marie Antoinette, all those ones that I showed you. There was just a few of the butterfly ones. Now, when I was on his Instagram, there was, oh, he did a portrait. It was called Brunettes Have More Fun. And I'm actually going to pop that one up too. And I don't know if he wrote anything about that one, but I looked at it and I said, um, I think that this is him. I think that he, like Leonardo painted himself as Mona Lisa. And I'm like, I think that that's him. I think that he painted himself because it's the face. When you see his picture on modern art, I'm wondering if that's him. And I know that there was something that I kind of read in between the lines that I think maybe it is him. But he also had um, a painting that I came across on his Instagram called Sacred Heart. I'm trying to look this up on my other phone, called Sacred Heart. And I was like, that is gorgeous. And Dreamer Designs had it. And it's been sold out. And I don't know if it's coming back. And I really want a brunette Kurtis Rykovich. And it just seems like it's not happening. It's just like there's that one that I want so much. So I just looked up Brunettes Have More Fun, and I swear that it is his face as a female. She's very, very pretty. And I believe that she sold for like $3,500. It was custom framed, and this is from where? Oh, this is from Ace Rare Collectibles, where this, I think it was auctioned off. And they had stated that growing up, Kurtis had always had a fascination with fashion, history, and beauty. It is not till he left his small town to attend a university where he attended university, let me say where he started to pull these elements together. I am not so much inspired by the history you learn in textbooks, but I am more drawn to the history of an individual, maybe never documented, and how that history has created such a beautiful or slightly eerie being. That is such a beautiful thought that he expressed there. Kurtis creates these visions of beauty whose stories appear to be shrouded in ornate clothing and effortless hair. But when observed at more than just a glance, you will get a taste of what they have been through, or perhaps what they lack. Oh gosh, what a beautiful, beautiful sentiment that he wrote there. And that was sold. It's signed. Is this an oil also? An original painting on on canvas. Wow. It doesn't say that it's an oil. Okay. So that's what I mean. Like, he went to school. Like, there's like no indication where he went to school. I would imagine that it was, and he's from a small town. So like, there's no background on the artist, even though that this is acerarecollectibles.com, where you can shop collectibles and you can explore collections. And it's all different, areas. Like right now I'm just looking at sports cars, not sports cars, sports cards. So that's really interesting. I mean, what else do they carry here? They have a client and celebrity gallery. I know I did see a few celebrities that had art. Wow. So yeah. So they're just a collectible company in all different categories, unique one-of-a-kind pieces, and miscellaneous finds from clients all over the world. And so his I would imagine that it sold for $3,500. They have like anything from a Babe Ruth authentic autographed baseball that reminds me of The Sandlot. If you've never seen The Sandlot, watch that movie. It's hysterical. and Walt Disney's original autograph cut of, it looks like a Daffy Duck, and what a beautiful signature Walt Disney had, and that's $58,000. So his that piece, Brunettes Have More Fun, is a it's in good company. I think I stopped here. I don't even know if I'm still talking. I might be talking right over this. Am I putting things down? What am I doing? Oh, I'm cleaning up a piece of putty with my cuticle nipper. And I think I've started to not just use my, the nail brush that I bought from the dollar store. I'm not just using that to like pick up, any dust or whatever that lands on the drills, but to give them a little zhuzh. I think I take my cuticle mister out. I couldn't get that piece of putty out. It was between the drills, and so I got the X-Acto knife, and that kind of picked it up. And then I just got the nail brush, and I got my water mister, and I sprayed the water mister on the brush, and I gave that area that I just did I don't know why I'm shaking water. I gave that area that I just did a good brushing to, I don't really see any, there was no putty, sticking to the drills, but there was like, sometimes Foofy comes in here. I do my best to keep him out of there. And just by wetting that brush a little bit and giving it a good brushing, it's able to grab that cat hair. Just like a few pieces that I see. Even me, sometimes I come in here, I take a break, I'm eating like an Atkins bar or something, and I'm like, oh gosh, can't do that. Now here's something that I'm doing here. Like, I'm using my aligner that I got from Art Dot. I really like that one. It has a thin edge on the bottom and it's see-through, so I use it for multiple things. But what I don't like what I'm doing here, and don't do what I'm doing because I never really do this, but I have so much stuff on my canvas right now that for me to like pull everything off, I still have the plastic cover. What I do when I'm using an aligner is I put the plastic cover back on top, and I run the aligner through the drills with the plastic cover, because what had happened there was exactly what I knew it would happen, was that you start to hit the bottom of the glue, and the glue, you could tell it's already cured. You could tell you get like these little kind of crinkly little pieces of dried glue where it cured, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to pull that glue up from the canvas. And so I did come back in, but my drills are wacky because this light that I have in this room, something's got to give. I have an out light, but no matter where I put it, it just seems like it's causing a shadow. I can't see where I'm at. I don't want to be in your way. The lighting seems off. I actually had to put a filter on top of this video, and to be able to control the lighting and make the overall canvas brighter. You might notice that it was a little bit darker in the beginning, but I had to make that manual adjustment to the canvas. Always something. And I do like that brush too for, keeping the border of the canvas clean, and even the back of the canvas I use it on. I brush the back of my canvas. Oh, here I am. Hold on. Such a time trying to get the light where, when I went to go place the drills down, my hand wasn't making a shadow. And so it seemed like every line that I was putting down, they were all crooked. I was like, oh my gosh. But I think we got it where now this light is staying like that. It's not moving. I hope that what I was talking about, future me was talking about, is interesting. I'm sure that it is. And I will see you all tomorrow for Tip Tuesday. So I will see everybody tomorrow for Tip Tuesday. I am going to work on, I'm not sure yet. I think I'm going to work on my angel because I really want to get him moving, because Wednesday I'll have a vision of the past out. So tomorrow is Tip Tuesday. My members already got tomorrow's Tip Tuesday last week, and they will be getting next week's Tip Tuesday tomorrow. That's what I was trying to say. And so I will see you tomorrow. Please leave me any questions or comments down below. And I will see you, as always, in the next one. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow. Keep creating that world that you want to live in.